brand new baby, the awe and joy of that moment, all you can think of are the wonderful possibilities of their future. And then, 7 years later, you're looking into the screaming, crying face of a 7-year-old who tells you that he just wants to die. What would you do? I have 3 degrees in psychology, am a professor and a researcher, and I felt helpless. I knew I had to look for answers. His life depended on it. In 2005, I gave birth to our son. He was a happy, healthy, easygoing baby. He became a curious infant who developed into a fun and inquisitive toddler. He was full of life and he loved everyone. By the time he was 3, he was energetic, enthusiastic, and into everything. Our nickname for him was our crazed lunatic monkey. We thought that's just who he was, constantly on the go, into everything and all over the place. His self-esteem was fantastic, and he had a ton of confidence. He was so excited to go to school. During the second week of kindergarten, his teacher pulled me aside and suggested that he had ADHD. I was shocked. His preschool never said anything like that. I mean, yes, he was interested in a lot of things, and yes, he was enthusiastic, but ADHD? And why did it seem like he only had ADHD on some days? His doctor disagreed. He said, he's just a very bright boy. And I'm grateful that his doctor did not try to medicate him. In 2nd grade, he started having problems. He had a hard time concentrating. One day I looked at him and said, do your best to focus. And he said, I can't concentrate, Mom. My brain buzzes. Brain buzzes? I have a PhD in cognitive neuroscience. If I learned anything in college, it's that brains are not supposed to buzz. So I started looking for answers. I searched the textbooks, scientific research articles, and I scoured the internet. And I found articles on the artificial food dye Red 40 and how it caused hyperactivity in some children. I found story after story about how Red 40 caused ADHD-like symptoms in some kids. It made them hyper, impulsive, disruptive in class, and caused brain buzzing. So I thought, aha, it's the Red 40. And we pulled everything with Red 40 in it from our diet. And the brain buzzing stopped. But we let him consume other foods with other artificial dyes like yellow 5 and 6, green 3, blue 1. In hindsight, I don't know why we thought those were safe when Red 40 wasn't. Maybe we couldn't imagine pulling everything with artificial food dyes from our home and our diet. That meant no more colored cupcakes, no more cheesy yellow chips, no pickles, no candies, no colored breakfast cereals. You see, artificial food dyes are in many of the foods, of the processed foods that we eat. Maybe we just couldn't imagine taking away foods that kids enjoy in their childhood. Now, I bet many of you are wondering, what are artificial food dyes? Well, they are a set of chemicals that are added to our food to enhance the color and appearance. They are man-made, petroleum-based, and banned in many countries. They provide no nutritional value, and many have been linked to cancer. And now I know, many of you are thinking, oh, then why are they in our food? Well, because we Americans, we like our brightly colored, shiny stuff. And this includes our food. So now that he wasn't eating red things, he turned to yellow things. Cheesy yellow chips, yellow candies, pineapple syrup on shaved ice in Hawaii. You name it, if it was yellow, it was okay. Then, 7 months after the removal of Red 40, we have a new problem. He's having emotional meltdowns and temper tantrums, the likes of which I had never seen. He would get upset over the littlest things. These temper tantrums turned into, they got more intense and more frequent. I'd ask him to turn off the TV, and he would break down and cry. And the crying would turn into anger, and this anger would turn into a full-blown emotional fit. He would scratch at himself. He would shred at his clothes. He would swing on me. He would scream. And eventually it would lead to him begging, Mom, just get me a knife so I can kill myself. I just want to die. We couldn't believe it. We had a suicidal 7-year-old. And all I can think of was if this continued, by the time he hit puberty, we would lose him. We were wondering what was happening to our sweet boy. So I searched the textbooks, the articles, the internet. I searched and searched. And I found one article on yellow 5 and how it caused irritation in kids. I found more articles and anecdotal evidence of other dyes like yellow 5 and 6 causing emotional disruptions in children. So we thought, all right, that's it. No more artificially colored food, no cheesy yellow chips, no artificial colored drinks, breakfast cereals. If it was naturally colored, it was okay. And we started living our life dye-free. And I was not ready for what happened next. That poor kid crashed like an addict coming off of drugs. He slept a lot. He would get up in the morning and he'd go lay back down on the couch. He was so tired. And he craved milk and cheese. He would have eaten an 8-ounce brick of cheese in one setting if we let him. And he was sore. For the first week, it hurt his body to be touched. He ached. He ate and slept. His body was starved, and it was finally beginning to recover. After a few weeks, he became more active, and he tried playing with the neighborhood kids, but his stamina was so low that he could only play for 5 or 10 minutes before he ran out of steam. It took 3 months for him to recover physically enough to play with the neighborhood kids. It took 6 months for him to recover enough to where he was back to himself, the self we had only glimpsed over the years. For most of his life, he was a pretty thin kid. You could see his ribs through his shirt. Before removing artificial dyes that previous year, he only gained 6 pounds that whole year. After we removed artificial food dyes, he gained 6 pounds in 6 weeks. The rest of the year, he gained another 10 for a total of 16 pounds. He was fit and healthy, and it was obvious that the dyes were causing some physical metabolic disruptions as well as psychological reactions. As we looked, we found, I forgot the best part. The best part was that just days after we removed the dyes from his diet, the emotional fits completely stopped. To this day, he's never again said he wanted to kill himself.